Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, thank you for inviting me to speak to you today. I'm not sure any of us could have imagined this time last year the change that was to come. There is no doubt we are living through extraordinary times. This pandemic has shown us, both as individuals and communities, that we have a choice in how we respond to global threats. Once the worst has passed, we must ensure that this crisis provides a watershed moment for investment in a more sustainable and resilient world. Climate change has no respect for borders. It doesn't stop at the gates. It's not the problem of one nation or one society. It is a global issue. It's an issue that demands global cooperation and collaboration across all the borders, across all the sectors, worldwide. Globally, there is a growing recognition that simply working to reduce emissions, to mitigate against climate change, is not enough. We need to become more climate resilient. Let me spell it out for you in numbers. Unless we act together and act now, climate change could push more than 100 million people in developing countries below the poverty line by 2030. That is without the additional impacts of COVID-19. Unless we adapt urgently, climate change may depress growth in global agriculture yields up to 30% by 2050. Unless we adapt properly, the number of people who lack sufficient water for at least 1 month in the year will soar from 3.6 billion today to more than 5 billion by 2050. And rising seas and ever more powerful storm surges could force hundreds of millions of people from their homes in coastal cities around the world. With the total cost to coastal urban areas more than $1 trillion each year by 2050. The solution is to work together. We must put all hands on deck together. Collective efforts are absolutely critical now. Shared learning has never been more important. That is why the Global Center on Adaptation, which I am honored to chair, acts to inspire and bring together heads of state, government officials, community leaders, business executives, and investors. Its role is to be a solutions broker to help teams act with urgency, determination, and foresight to create cost-effective methods to help communities prepare for and adapt to climate change. Because the truth is that many attempts to alleviate the effects of climate change around the world can be reactive, piecemeal, and short-sighted. Unless we do something to join up the dots, the human cost will be staggering. The sense of urgency is pressing, and there is so much to do. Total global damages from climate-related disasters have climbed by more than 11% per year over the past 20 years. In monetary terms, in 2017, damages reached more than $300 billion. As the planet continues to warm, so people and assets are becoming more exposed, more vulnerable still. We need to equip people so they can deal with the changes that are already here. We urgently need to alter the way we think about climate change risk and damage. Understanding that there are opportunities to modify our environment and make it more resilient in the face of change is crucial to planning and investing in adaptation. There has to be a revolution in the way we actually plan our cities, our infrastructure, and our private investments. Adaptation actions, if they are done well, are some of the most cost-effective and proactive investments a country or company can make. They can offer a triple dividend by avoiding future losses, generating positive economic gains through innovation, and delivering social and environmental benefits. Adaptation can save lives, protect our homes and communities, and safeguard and build a better future for us all. We have a phrase at the GCA: delay and pay, or plan and prosper. It sounds like a choice, but morally, economically, logically, there really is no choice. Creating infrastructure resilient to the effects of climate change adds relatively little to the total build cost, around 3% extra. But the World Bank has found that cost is offset by savings of up to 4 times the cost of the loss and damage that would have occurred without it. So, as GCA research has shown, $1.9 trillion in incremental investments between now and 2030 could eventually generate $7.1 trillion in benefits. Restoring our river watershed, replanting, repairing, and strengthening them to reduce the flood risk could save some of the world's largest cities around $890 million in damages every year. Early warning systems in other flood risk areas can save billions of dollars a year. More importantly, they give people time to evacuate, and so thousands of lives can be saved. Adaptation is not just the right thing to do. It makes economic sense because the value of the benefits can be many times higher than the cost of investing. These are just very few examples of what can be done. To advance some of these solutions, the Netherlands is hosting a climate adaptation summit in January next year, the first ever global summit of world leaders dedicated to adaptation. We hope it will jumpstart the changes needed to try and get ahead of the climate crisis, to strengthen communities and support economic development for all people. We must work together so we can all thrive in our changing world. We are the last generation that can change the course of climate change. We are the first generation to have to live with these consequences. And that is what we must learn to do. Thank you.